In my opinion, we should all be strong. No. We should all be somewhat, at least, fit. We should all be fit. I don't think our bodies are our temple. I think our bodies are an altar. It's a different thing. It's not like you have to maintain a temple. An altar is something you can choose to maintain. A temple is something that you kind of, for whatever purpose, you must maintain a temple. In any case, I'm responding to 88. Not any of your videos, but your page itself. You were talking about on your page that there's a lot of spaces in suburbia. Yeah, I had an idea a while ago about that kind of issue, the stupidness basically of our own. It's really silly because we just have we have a complete lack of sense, of common sense, really. Think about it this way. Imagine if, well, to me, a house really isn't what we think of it commonly, I guess. A house can be a restaurant. A house can be a place where you can showcase art. A house can be anything you want it to be. The problem is people are not imaginative enough to think of these kinds of things. Imagine you don't have people pay for the food or whatever. You could have them have an entrance fee, and of course this would be for many different aspects of the house. The idea is this would be replacing, in a suburban area, this would be replacing fast food joints and what you're basically talking about on your page, making a business out of your own home. Making a business out of your own home. But it wouldn't be, technically, it wouldn't be a business of any kind. It's just servicing everyone around you. And then then you have a garden, let's say, or somebody on your street has a garden. You can use those whatever the foodstuffs that they grow on their property to then use in your cooking that you would do for them. The idea would be kind of revolutionary in its actual practice, because that would change the nature of suburbia, and it would also take away from capitalism. I mean, that would destroy capitalism, especially if we started doing a lot of that. If we started doing a lot of that, it would be self-sufficiency at its best. And suburbia is the biggest growing, I'm assuming at least, the biggest growing area population other than cities. And you could still do that in cities. As long as you had gardens, somebody could have a garden on their, I don't know, on their stoop, or not on their stoop, on their balcony or some shit, I don't know. This would, I mean, the question is, are people ready to love each other? That's the question. We've been trained to be suspicious of each other for so long. The question is, are we ready to love one another? I think we are. I think we've always been. I think the conditioning that we've been programmed with is easily broken when we realize that people are not evil. That evil doesn't really even exist except in psychopathy, which really only exists in the rich and a few of the suburbanites, but very few of the poor. Because if they were really psychopathic, they would have cheated and got a really good job. Either that, or they would have already been killed, or have killed and then been put into jail. So we're all normal. We all really just want to get along. All of us. That's the reality of all of us. We all just want to get along. And this idea, I think, is a really good idea for the future and even the present too. If we started doing this on an actual scale, I mean, you could get people to basically just donate to the purchasing of the foodstuffs if you didn't want to make a garden. So you have everybody collectively helping out. And then whoever does the service of food, of making the food, or you could also showcase art in the place and have that get sold. You could have yoga lessons. You could have all these different things, but you'd have to obviously have connections and have friendships with people who have abilities. But at the same time, you wouldn't have to have a license if it was something that was going on in your own home, would you? So you could have people teaching other people what they know without a license and still get paid. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating a living situation where you and other people could live in the same house and get a good amount of money from the business that you're doing. That would be a good, and then you could also still have your jobs. So it would help with paying for your place or paying for whatever utilities you would need. It's a good idea. You know, I think it's also worth spreading this idea. It's the only reason people don't do it is because they just haven't had the imagination yet. I mean, the reality is we're all born empty. The only way that we can ever come to new ideas is to have them. And the problem is people just haven't had this idea yet. So, you know, I think that would be a solution to what you're talking about, is on your page at least, with filling up that space in suburbia, that empty space. I don't know, why do we not think in practical terms? Why do we not think in practical, imaginative terms, even? Is it because we've been dumbed down? Is it because we're programmed to conform, and that conformation is, or that conformity is destructive to our imagination? Is that why? Is that why there are fewer people that invent things of any significance anymore? On the, at least on the common interaction. I think making, all you really would have to do is have a talent at that point. You could even showcase music and things like that. It would take a relatively big house. You couldn't really do it in a, you could even do it in an apartment. You could still do it in an apartment. The trick is having good enough ability to cook or to do this or that. That's what people used to do on streets in the earlier times, man. Call it cookouts. Have all the neighbors come around. Why are the neighbors people we are almost afraid of now? Why is that? Why is that? I mean, I'm not really talking to my audience now, am I? My audience has seen this probably their whole lives. I don't know, maybe I need a new audience. Who knows? I need to stop preaching to the choir. Who are the crowd? I need to stop preaching to the choir and start preaching to someone else. Huh. Anyway, thanks to E1GHTY8, and shit. Hope you have good times, man. Maybe you know, if you have friends that have the ability to cook, do yoga, any kind of service, you might want to let them in on that idea. I don't know, I don't really know you, but you know, I think because we have the same kind of idea, the same kind of feeling about that, figured I'd give you a video, send you a video. So, peace out.